Hello all, SEO Noctum here with the start of a new series focused on the new upcoming game Divinity Original Sin created by Larian Studios. Today I'm just going to give you an introduction and overview of what the game has to offer, what it intends to offer, and a rough first impression. Original Sin is a single-player and co-op RPG. It is a modern prequel to the Divine Divinity from 2002, and focuses strongly on bringing the foundations of old-school RPGs into the modern gaming era with plenty of improvements and a heavy coating of much-needed polish. You do not need to have played any of the previous Divinity games to understand and enjoy the rich story of Original Sin, though if you do have experience with Divine Divinity, then you're in for a healthy dose of comfortable familiarity. Like most older RPGs, Original Sin uses an isometric view, though it most certainly does not look like an older RPG. The art style and graphics are beautifully well done and extremely detailed. Add in the vibrant spell effects and you're in for a visual treat. You'll quickly notice that not only is the world beautiful, but it's filled with interactive odds and ends, most of which can be used in the large crafting system. The crafting system covers everything from food and potions to armor, weapons, and spell scrolls. Turn some flour and water into dough, smash on some tomatoes, maybe some cheese, cook it for a bit, and you've got a tasty pizza. Want to turn that cooking pot into a helmet? Well, sure, go ahead. Have some spare nails and a plank? Make yourself a spiked mace. It may not be the fanciest weapon, but it'll get the job done. Recipes for crafting are typically found by reading in-game books, of which there are a lot of, and some good old trial and error. Interactive items that can't be used for crafting can typically be used in combat. Levitate that explosive barrel over top of a horde of undead and watch it explode on impact, or toss a water barrel at your burning buddy to put out the flames. Does your enemy happen to be standing in a pool of water? Light him up with some lightning and electrocute him, and anyone else standing in the water. The combat in Original Sin is spectacular. It is turn-based, which I usually turn away from, but the amount of skill and spell combos that you can pull off, and the strategy that the party system requires is insanely fun. Original Sin uses a classless skill system. While the game does give you a fair amount of class choices at character creation, this does nothing more than determine which abilities your heroes start with. Any character can acquire any skill and use any armor and weapon. Just because you started as a sorcerer doesn't mean you can't take up a sword and board and become a face-smashing warrior. One of the biggest throwbacks to old-school RPGs, however, has to be the massive amount of storytelling. You will spend a huge portion of the game, especially at the beginning, talking to NPCs, reading books, and listening to dialogues. Sounds boring, but once you get into it, it really isn't. The writing in Original Sin is exceptionally well done, and the storyline is interesting right from the start. The characters are well fleshed out, and they're easy to connect to. I frequently found myself eager to talk to the next NPC to find out more about the world and what was happening. Of course, it helps that the first big story arc you come to is a murder mystery with multiple ways to solve it. Yep, there are multiple ways to complete quests, and no, this game will not hold your hand. You're going to have to do some serious thinking to find ways to solve your problems, and don't expect to sit back and easily see all the different ways to solve a quest before picking which way you want to do it. Some solutions are well hidden and require you to think outside the box to even realize that it's an option in the first place. For me, this was a welcome change of pace from most recent RPGs, which have taken to giving you a dumbed-down, too long didn't read entry in your journal and an arrow pointing straight to the objective on your map. Some quests actually have choices and consequences that you'll have to face as well. By choosing not to help someone, or not helping fast enough, you can lose out on an entire side quest chain, or open up an entirely different chain instead. Speaking of quest chains, Original Sin is non-linear, and does a great job of providing you with a decent amount of different quests, and letting you choose which order to do them in. As if the immersion wasn't already strong enough, Original Sin also boasts a social stat system that ties in with their deep party dialogue. Just because your heroes are working together doesn't mean they always have to agree with each other. How your heroes respond to situations, other NPCs, and other party members affects their social status with each other, and what kind of personality each hero has is completely up to you. Plus, when your heroes have a disagreement, they settle the dispute with a rousing game of rock, paper, scissors. Perhaps the world would be a better place if everyone settled their differences in such a way. Divinity Original Sin will be shipping with the editor that the game was made with. This will allow players to create and share their own quests, maps, and adventures online, adding extra longevity and replay value. The game is set to release on June 20th, 2014, and you can currently buy into the beta on Steam Early Access. Now, only a small portion of the game is available for play during the beta, so there's no need to rush to get access. But what I've seen so far has been extremely fun, and I'm greatly looking forward to the official release. If you're an RPG fan, this is certainly a game worth looking at.
Rise and shine, Master Source Hunters. The captain wants you up on deck. Hear them gulls? Means we're close to shore. I don't envy you going there, Master Source Hunters. City's full of undead, hungry and out for blood. But you suppose...